Hello, missed me? I haven't made videos in a while, but I have been streaming. But I thought, why not get into the groove of videos by making a good old reaction video, yeah? What's the latest trend going on around nowadays? What are all the VTubers reacting to nowadays? Oh, dark humor, offensive jokes, Family Guy compilation, not for snowflakes. Let's try that. Let's see what the big hubbub is about. Why is everyone reacting to this? And remember, guys, this is not for snowflakes, meaning if any of you wokes out there are watching this damn video, you gotta learn how to take a joke. You gotta learn to not be so easily triggered, snowflake. Oh, you can't take a joke. You always get mad about everything. So let's see if this 10-minute video will offend you.
Well, I'm off to buy imaginary groceries.
Oh, look at my little cowboy.
Come on, Stewie,
That makes
up in your
sense.
high chair.
Boy, he must be starving.
Yep, he's really chowing down.
Hey, how's the food, Stewie? Oi, blimey, it's a right delicious, I do declare. Waka waka. Hammy?
See, so the joke here is that Stewie is a child, and so when he gets accidentally knocked down the stairs and seems completely unconscious, which is obviously a bad thing for a child, right? Usually kids die from this. And so he appears to have died, or at least is unconscious. And so since these two who accidentally knocked him down are, they'll clearly feel bad about it, they're trying to disguise Stewie to make it look like he is okay, but is failing miserably as he's clearly unconscious for a long period of time, and they start to get worried. So the joke here is they might have accidentally killed a baby. And it's funny that they're trying to cover it up because he may actually be dead.
Yep, he's really chowing down.
Hey, how's the food, Stewie? Oi, blimey, it's a right delicious, I do declare. Waka waka.
Hammy? Bad. Bad dog. So we understand each other?
Yeah, I'll be good, trust me. I saw what you did to that black belt.
I don't care what color your belt is. You're a child, and I am stronger than you.
Yeah, and
Okay, so this one's pretty straightforward, but there's some
You did
layers to
that black
this,
belt.
yes? So, in this setup, Peter is fighting a child. Let me move out of the way a little bit. Peter is fighting a child, another one involving a child. Now, he is a purple belt, as you can see here. And that girl is a black belt. And so I assume this is Taekwondo. I've done Taekwondo before. But this could be something else. I don't know. But usually black belt means the highest level of skill. Now, this normally wouldn't happen in a matchup because it's different weight classes. Even if, and children do get black belts. Like, if they're dedicated, they can get black belts. But that doesn't mean they can overpower an adult. Because again, this is a measure of technical skill, not physical strength. So, when Peter easily beats her up, and everyone's like, oh, no way, Peter feels defensive over this, and he's, almost like, oh, you're offended that I beat up a child, and it's like, hey, no, see, I'm the lower belt rank here. It's just, you put me up against someone who is technically a higher skill level, but I am an adult, and I take pride in being an adult, and I will overpower you. I'm not going to pretend that. So he's very, he doesn't seem very apologetic over this. So, yeah, it's funny because he beat up the child and who was supposed to be a higher skill level because he's a big dude, right? So, yeah.
And I am stronger than you.
yeah, and I can't believe how you stood up to Connie D'Amico for me.
I don't
Hey,
know what that
Meg.
is.
Hi,
Oh.
Connie.
I can't fit all my books in my locker. Can I put the rest of them on your ginormous ass?
I would take that as a
Connie.
compliment.
Hi, Peter Griffin, Meg's father. Say, can you do me a favor? You see that fire extinguisher there?
Dad, that's enough! Dad, that's enough! That's enough, Dad!
Okay, so this is the third one in a row where Peter Griffin beats up a child. which is very interesting. So the joke here is that Meg is being sort of, socially like bullied by this group of people here, and especially by this blonde lady here. And, to our surprise, Peter Griffin, the dad, just walks into the frame, which is like, okay, you're not supposed to be here. What are you doing here? And at first he tricks her to look behind her, but what he actually wants to do is smash her face repeatedly into the fire extinguisher glass. And, she looks dead, basically, or at least horrifically injured. And this is in reference to the fact that parents often feel protective towards their children. And so in this case, he was trying to defend Meg from being bullied, because no parent wants to watch their child being bullied. And I suppose, in some people's heads, this may be a kind of intrusive thought that may have come up. Maybe not this kind of violent way, but in some ways you want to see their bully get some comeuppance in some way, yeah? And this is sort of a visual, actual, like, demonstration of what happens if we were to follow that intrusive thought. And clearly Peter cries over here because he feels bad that he did this. As if he knows that what he did was completely intrusive, and he didn't really mean to, but he felt like it was just to stand up for his daughter. So yeah, the joke is that it's shock value. He beats up another kid, but it's also funny because he starts crying at what he just did, which is unexpected.
No, you can't make me. I'll get hit with a coconut so I lose my memory of this. I remember everything. I was abused by my dad.
So I don't know what conversation happened here.
I'll get hit with a coconut so I lose my memory of this.
But the joke is, he says he wants to lose his memory of this, and the way he wants to do it is by dropping a coconut on his head. But the joke is that the coconut actually breaks his skull, which is not what you expect to happen.
I remember everything.
And he says, basically, the punchline out loud, despite the horrific injury that happened to him, he didn't at least even forget it. He still remembers everything. So the joke is that he basically hurt himself on purpose he hurt himself on purpose for no reason.
I was abused by my dad.
And that's funny because it's also unexpected. He remembers everything, including a random traumatic experience that he had when he was younger.
Yeah, this is awesome!
I know, right?
Oh my God!
It's okay, Chris. I'm sure that was the only one. Dolphins swim alone. Okay, maybe we should turn back.
No. Kill every last one of them.
Chris and I never spoke of that day. But whenever somebody talks about how smart dolphins are, Chris and I look at each other like, no.
So this one's interesting. I don't think dolphins are that fragile, nor do I think they're going fast enough to where it would explode someone like that, an animal like that. However, that's the joke, right? The joke is they're riding on a jet ski, and they go so fast as to completely explode a dolphin.
Awesome.
I know, right?
Right? And that's already like shock in itself, right? That's not necessarily funny. But what's funny is that Peter says that Shirley is the only one because dolphins swim alone. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not actually sure if dolphins actually swim alone or not. But the point is, he says it must be the only one, and that sets up perfectly for it to reveal that it was not the only one, and they crash into multiple more dolphins. And you would think, well, obviously this is completely horrific, right? Maybe they should turn back. But then Chris unexpectedly says, no, kill them all. Which is random, but also funny, because he suddenly says something so violent. And Peter is going along with the plan, and so they continue to explode more dolphins. Even Peter saying, whenever someone says, dolphins are so intelligent, he's like, no, right? And they ride off into the sunset, which is a juxtaposition from the corpses of the dolphins that we see in the water versus the beautiful sunset of a dad and a son riding on a jet ski. And so the hilarity, the comedy comes from there.
Chris and I look at each other like, no.
Oh, a message from Joe.
Hey, Cleveland, I just wanted to give you a heads up that Peter has a whip because, well, you know, given your racial heritage, it seems like something you might want to keep an eye out for.
Grape soda, Graham.
I know this is very risky, but the upside is so good, I'm taking it.
So this one's kind of interesting. So we have, what's his name? I don't remember. Cleveland, I think. Getting a phone call from Joe, I think. I don't watch Family Guy. I just consume it through clips sometimes. But the phone call is warning him that Peter is coming to whip him because of his racial disposition. Obviously implying that he's going to be whipped because he's black. And historically, black people were slaves and were often whipped by their masters. Or rather, abusers, I suppose. If we were to use that kind of language. And I don't know the context for the scene. I don't know why Peter would come and whip him to begin with, or why Joe had this information to begin with, but I suppose that's part of the hilarity of a no context compilation. And, you know, that's already a great setup, right? It's, again, unexpected and shocking, and why, right? So that seems to be the trend of this compilation of Family Guy jokes. Not saying it's indicative of the rest of the show's humor, but at least in this compilation, it all seems to be very shock value. Someone says something violent unexpectedly, and it's unexpected, and they're unexpectedly violent, and everyone's unexpectedly violent. So, you know, which is not for snowflakes. If you got triggered, if you got offended by any of these jokes, that you're sensitive, you can't even take a fucking joke. And so, hilariously next, Peter goes and pretends that he is someone at the door. What did he say?
Eye out for.
Grape soda, Graham.
I know.
Grape soda something, right? And, you know, we know, the audience knows that it's Peter going to do a bad thing to him. But Cleveland doesn't know that. Well, he is supposed to know. But the joke is that he doesn't want to pass up on what is being offered by Peter. So it's simultaneously tension because we know something bad is going to happen if he opens that door. But the audience is privy to information that the characters aren't. And then it's double layered with the joke that Cleveland knows that it's a threat, but he takes it anyway because, well, he just couldn't pass up the chance that it actually is the thing that Peter is lying about. So that's the joke.
This is very risky, but the upside is so good, I'm taking it.
This shucks. Now the only thing anybody's gonna remember me for after I die is being that blind guy. Don't give up yet, Peter. I mean, many blind people lead rich, fulfilling lives.
Oh, I don't know, Brian. I mean, I guess I can give it a shot.
Oh my God! I almost didn't do it. I thought, is this in bad taste? But you know what? I went for it, and I am so glad I did. Oh, worth it. Totally worth it.
Right. Okay. So this one looks to be an older clip, which is interesting. So it seems that in this situation, Peter is blinded in some way, and the whole family is trying to comfort him, and he seems pretty down about it. Yeah. And obviously, we know something bad is coming, but because we know the nature of comedy, and we perhaps know the nature of Family Guy, we know that whenever someone says a positive statement, there's a chance that, you know, something opposite of that, something negative will happen to juxtapose that thing that's going to happen. I see Stewie making that face. I see him making that face. So clearly he's already up to no good. He's a little troublemaker. He's up to a little mischief, right? But the setup here is that something good is supposed to happen. Obviously, we, the audience, know that something is wrong. Something's going to happen.
Many
that's
blind
bad.
people lead rich, fulfilling lives.
So you see him
I
right
don't
here,
know,
out of
Brian.
frame,
I mean,
a little
I
bit,
guess I can
in
give
the
it a
corner,
shot.
and trips a blind person over, which is obviously a bad thing to do. But the joke here is that Stewie says he almost didn't do it. And the way the dialogue is written here, the way he repeats himself, it's almost like a very sincere, like a real thing that he would do, that someone would actually do. Obviously, a baby his age in real life wouldn't possibly think the way that he does. But, you know, part of the joke isn't that he even did it to begin with. That's the shock value, but that's not the joke. The joke is that he's so glad that he did it. And he's so, you know, it's almost like realistic dialogue where it's like, oh, I almost didn't do it, but I actually did. And it was really funny, you know, and that's and you would expect it to come from Stewie, of all people, as well. So, yeah.
It's in bad taste, but you know what? I went for it. I went for it, and I am so glad I did. Oh, worth it. Totally worth it.
It's just so horrible.
I'm sorry, Lois. I thought if I shook him enough, he'd stop crying. I was kind of right.
That
Okay, so Peter Griffin Jr., apparently there's probably some kid that we're unaware of. Is this a new kid, or is this one of the children from the family? I don't know. I don't know Family Guy lore. But here they're crying over what seems to be a dead child. And Peter says, well, you know, I thought if I shook him enough, he'll stop crying. I don't know the context to that. I don't know, you know, whether that killed him or not. But his next line saying, well, you know, he was right, meant that maybe it did actually kill him. Or maybe it didn't. Actually, no, I think the joke is here that it did kill him. I'm not actually too sure. I think that the lack of context on this one is stumping me. So I don't know if I can explain this one. But I kind of get the gist of this. So yeah, I think it's fine.
Enough, he'd stop crying. I was kind of right.
That truck's coming up on us awful fast.
Oh.
Holy crap! Do you see what I see?
I'm afraid I do.
We're being chased by ghosts!
I do.
Yeah, so this one's pretty simple, self-explanatory. We see this black gentleman over here driving, very fearful because they are apparently being chased by a car comically full of KKK cultists. And Peter seems to be actually, this all seems to have taken place in the past. Peter with some kind of mullet and with the way the beads they're wearing and the jewelry. Actually, the duffel bag. Actually, they might have stolen something. I don't know. Well, either way, I'm not here to dissect the plot of the episode. The joke is that they're being chased by a racist cult, and one of these people here are clearly being targeted. But the joke is, you know, the second joke, the layer is Peter doesn't know who the KKK are, and he says, "Oh, it's a bunch of ghosts," and the guy just kind of squints that up. So, yeah, pretty self-explanatory. It's all right. It's not anything. It's not like funny or anything. I mean, none of these have. I mean, well, some of these have been. You know, I mean, okay. Point being, if you laugh at this, then you are right. If you felt triggered by this specific joke, then lighten up.
We're being chased by ghosts!
How are we only 3 minutes in this? Okay. Oh, that's not good.
You run like a
You might hurt
girl.
yourself.
Run like a man, you get a suit.
Oh my.
Yeah, I don't know if I should depict this on screen. So, obviously, running with scissors, bad thing to do. You might actually hurt yourself. Peter's strategy to get him to stop doing that is to basically mock him. You know, he's obviously raised as a man, and Peter says, well, you run like a girl, obviously in an attempt to get him to stop from the insult. But, you know, Chris took it far enough to where he hated it so much where he just killed himself. And that's not the actual punchline, right? Family Guy, in these clips at least, layers their jokes. As any good comedy should. You know, most of the time you should just have one gag. You should layer the gags together. Okay? And the second half of this joke is basically laying Chris to rest after his death in a sort of princess suit with a tiara and everything. So princess suit, princess dress with a tiara and everything. In reference to how he was called a girl before he died, or rather, that was actually the thing that caused him to die to begin with. And Peter sort of scoffs, says, "Well, you run like a man. That's when you get a suit." And so, continuing to mock him after death. So the shock of seeing him, first of all, kill himself after that, and also secondly, him in a bridal outfit, not a bridal outfit, a princess outfit. I keep saying the wrong thing. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Bridal outfit. I am so washed. I don't know. I should be sleeping right now, but hey, that's the joke. I think this one's okay. This one's decent. It's interesting, at least.
Run like a man, you get a suit.
Oh my God, Peter! What the hell?
Peter, what are you doing?
Oh, surely, Jerome, you don't want to stay in the same house as a ghost who carries a torch around. Oh, fire ghost! Oh,
actually, this guy might be the same guy. Maybe it's like from his past.
Scared
his
yet?
friend.
Didn't know this place was haunted, did you? Turns out be fire.
So, I think I get the gist of what he's doing. He doesn't like that this Jerome guy is maybe getting close to Lois. And so he is sort of trying to chase him away by being offensive, but at the same time pretending to be innocent and saying it's a ghost with a torch to absolve him of suspicion, right? Because obviously if he wants to kick this guy out, he wants to do it discreetly. And so this is the method that he chose, which is, maybe even a callback to that previous joke we had earlier with maybe even the same guy. So I don't know. It could actually be lore.
Hey, a ghost! Oh, you scared yet? Didn't know this place was haunted, did you? Turns out being a mobster isn't for me.
Well, I'm just happy you're home safe.
Me too, Dad.
Has anyone seen the rest of my white wine?
Sorry, Lois, I drank that.
Oh, that's fine, Brian. Hey, what do you say you and me go for a walk in the woods?
You know what? This is kind of nice. I thought you were going to do some kind of Godfather murder on me.
Oh, Brian, I don't watch mafia movies, but I did see Fargo.
Huh?
I'm gonna whip that.
Okay, so I'm not sure what the first half was. I think that was just a little extra to set the scene. But the actual relevant part was Lois walking in, being like, "Hey, where'd my wine go?" Brian's like, "Well, I drank it all." And obviously, we know she's mad, but she doesn't show it, right? But as soon as she says, "Let's go out for a walk," you already know that, well, especially if you know this show's humor, maybe he's going to get killed. Yes? And so Brian kind of pokes fun at this, saying, "Hey, I thought you were to kill me, but this is nice." But obviously, as the audience, you're like, "Oh, well, now that you know that they're self-aware of the joke, how are they gonna subvert this?" And well, the subversion is just the same thing. It's just he does get killed out, right? But the punchline is played a little differently. It gets self-aware about how overdone this joke is, but does it anyway. But pretends that it wasn't going to do it first. So, I mean, if you overuse this trope or do it annoyingly, it can be bad. But at least in this context, out of context, it's fine. I don't know what Fargo is, but it is pretty shocking to see him being put through this thing. So, yeah.
Fargo.
I'm out. And maybe not slice. I'm gonna whip that cigarette out of your mouth. And maybe not slice your face in half.
Dad, I don't want to do this.
Stay still! Okay, that's pretty cool, too.
Hey, Dad, that's a cool whip. I thought you couldn't understand me!
Okay, so that's a floating cigarette. I'm not sure what's going on in this episode, but Peter is trying to whip the cigarette out of Meg's mouth. Fails.
Stay still!
The cigarette's still in the air.
Okay, that's pretty cool, too.
And he's like, "Whoa, I mean, I didn't expect that to happen." Clearly, he wanted to hit that cigarette out of the mouth, but obviously it caused disastrous consequences for his kid. But seeing this cool thing happen is like, whoa, you know what? It's worth it anyway. And so that shows his dubious morality also being a crux of the joke a lot of the time.
Hey, Dad.
And then obviously there's a second part to this. It's Family Guy. You know, Stewie comes in. He's like, "Oh, you know, that's pretty cool." And you already know what's going to happen. You can predict what's going to happen.
It's a cool whip.
And he does do it.
I thought you couldn't understand me.
Stewie remarks, Stewie exclaims this, but I'm pretty sure Peter doesn't understand him still, and just whipped him perhaps out of a need for power. Maybe he got power hungry, or I don't know. It's a little random. Yeah, but randomness in humor does work sometimes. You just kind of got to use it correctly.
What's going on in here?
Ever since Dad became a mobster, he's been giving me a ton of Italian children's books.
Green eggs and pancetta.
Don't know what that is.
Here's a yo.
Oh, that's
Good
a
night,
Dr.
Mooks.
Seuss.
And Where the Wild Things Is. Stewie, this is ridiculous.
That's not all bad. I like having those Stelladoro breakfast cookies.
Oh, I ate those. Sorry.
Ah, no problem, Brian. No problem at all. Hey, what do you say you and I do a little fishing?
Damn it.
So there's actually multiple jokes in this, but I can't really comment on the Italian one. Kind of flew over my head a bit. But this one actually has a similar structure to a similar punch. So this one actually has a similar punchline to the earlier one where Brian drank the wine. Here he eats the cookies that Stewie likes so much, and so he's like, "Hey, let's go fishing." And again, you already know what's going to happen. Although for my taste, I wouldn't have included the actual murder scene because that kind of takes away from the joke because we know what's going to happen. But you know, I suppose it has its own merits. Yes, just seeing it happen and Stewie slowly pulling out a gun and actually going through with it. Yeah, personally, I think this does diminish the joke a little bit because it actually plays itself out. I don't know if this is the original joke and then the wine one was actually a rehash. I don't actually know. So either way, yeah, I mean, for a show going on for so long, there's gonna be a lot of reused jokes and callbacks.
Damn it. I'll teach Joe to ogle my wife.
Whoa, whoa.
Oh, hey, Peter. What are you clenching in that fist there?
Oh, he's out.
That was sadder than what I was going for. Well, at least it's over.
Oh.
God, those are all final notice wheelchair bills. Not a good day for Joe.
Not a good day for Joe.
Not a good day for Joe. What do you want?
Okay, so this one's very simple, right? Apparently, Joe has been ogling his wife, which is obviously not good. And so Peter's here to give him a piece of his mind. Punches him in one punch, gets knocked out cold, right? Which is unexpected. But the whole crux of the scene, the punchline is that he dies, or at least is unconscious in a very pathetic way, with the way that he slumps over, the drool coming out, him falling off the wheelchair, right, which is a sad sight, and and Peter saying, "Well, yeah, obviously this is not a good day for Joe." That's not a punchline. That's a setup. Mailman comes, dumps a bunch of letters on him. Final notice for wheelchair payments, which is unexpected, but it's funny that a wheelchair has payment. You would never see that coming. And so obviously to add insult to injury, the wheelchair is taken away suddenly. And then a bunch of seagulls, seagulls actually, came and took his shoes off. Just, randomly. But the point is to just have constant misfortune falling on him after he's already out. And Peter commenting again, not a good day for Joe, is the punchline. Him saying it the second time after we had seen all of these happen in a sequence, emphasizes how strangely coincidental and awful this looks.
Not a good day for Joe.
What do you want, Griffin?
Angela, look out your window. You see that Anheuser-Busch billboard next to the Children's Hospital? Well, watch this. Oh, God. Oh, my God, this is horrible. Oh, God. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, good Lord, save them. Bless their Oh, okay, yeah. There we go. All right, everything worked out.
Dumb.
Okay, so this looks like an older clip. So clearly his plan, quite radical. He clearly did, this is probably their ad or something, or maybe a rival's ad. But whatever the case is, they want to get rid of it. Peter's plan is to blow it up. And, you don't know he was going to do that.
Anheuser-Busch billboard next to the children's hospital? Well, watch.
But by holding this specific device in his head, if you've watched enough cartoons, you know that this is a comical, sort of cartoon bomb explodey device. If not a bomb, then something else, right? But you know that this activates something, because in cartoons you always see this very weird, nondescript, random one-button thing, right? With an antenna for a signal. And so, yeah, remote detonation bomb for a billboard sounds a bit extreme, yes? But it's right next to the children's hospital. Obviously, it's too fast for you to realize before it actually happens that, oh no, the bomb didn't go off in the right spot. Apparently the bomb was planted in the wrong spot. Obviously, in the children's hospital, that's horrible. And the joke is that it's horrible that this happened to the children's hospital, that Peter had misplaced the bombs perhaps into here. And part of it, actually, for me, that's funny, is the way that he sounds. Almost, I can't tell if he's being sarcastic or if he's genuinely, shocked and surprised right now.
Oh, God. Oh, my God, this is
horrible.
horrible.
My God, this is so horrible.
That's terrible.
God, it's terrible.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah, and then the fire spreads to the billboard, and it's like, oh, small blessings, basically. Oh, that all worked out in the end. And the joke is that, yeah, sure, something horrible did happen and that he might have caused. But hey, look on the bright side. We actually got something less important done. Right? Because you could say that a children's hospital blowing up is a really bad thing. Orders of magnitude higher than a billboard burning. But, the fact that he took, he was almost completely relaxed by the fact that they at least got the board makes the situation so absurd. And that's the joke.
Worked out.
How dumb do you have to be to walk into a gorilla pit, eh, Brian? Brian? So you've all read my book? They had read my book. They just didn't like it.
Wow, very violent. I forget that sometimes this show depicts gore on TV just like that. Crazy. Very obvious setups too. It says, well, nobody would just willingly walk into a pit of gorillas. Next thing you know, Brian dead. Right? And apparently, I think he is a book author in the canon. And so they're like, oh, so you all have read my book. I don't know what the book is. I'm sure it was something, offensive to the gorillas in some way. He comes out and he's like, well, no, they can understand. Gorillas, they actually read my book. They just didn't like it. Yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Hey, tip, I'll do cash. Good, you heard me. Would you like to donate a cup of coffee to a soldier overseas? Yeah, that seems like a good cause.
Hey, here's your free cup of coffee from a lady in Rhode Island.
What? Give me that stuff.
Free cup.
Okay, I understand. So the joke here is playing on a relatable experience. So oftentimes a lot of comedy falls back on relatable experiences to get the comedy gears going. So this is a situation you might find in a local Starbucks or a local cafe or something. It's like, oh, would you want to donate? And in this sense, it's donate to a soldier, right? And obviously you'd want to do that. But here the joke is taken to a literal extreme where a soldier is literally brought a cup of coffee by a woman in Rhode Island, right? Which is absurd, but it's like, okay, what if our donations were literally happening in real time? Yes, and obviously this messes up his bomb defusal.
Coffee from a lady in Rhode Island.
What?
I think also another layer of funny is that the cup of coffee is just thrown at him. right? Because it's like, who would do that? And the joke is, well, it's random, right? It's just thrown at him, but that doesn't matter because what matters is that he got fucked up and the bomb, he was distracted and it blew up. Yeah, so it plays on that relatable experience taken to an absurd degree.
Give me that. Stop. Quagmire. You're not leaving here without being shot. I was trying to do the decent thing. I can see the movie.
Oh.
Son of a bitch. It's over. We're all friends again. What the hell, Joe? I'm just trying to settle this nonsense.
Nothing got settled. You shot him. I'm the one who has to shoot him.
All right, now wait a second. All right, then I get to shoot Joe. All right, he shot me. I mean, if we're doing things fair here, then...
All right, we're good.
I'm so glad.
Doing things fair...
Okay. Wow. I'm not actually sure where the funny part was. So it seems that Quagmire and Peter are fighting over a gun, and you would think that, oh no, the gun went off when they were fighting, but no, it was actually Joe who shot from behind. And at first it's like, why the fuck would you shoot Peter? But it's just an absurd way to stop the fight. And Peter tries to argue here, well, if Joe got to shoot me, he's trying to argue like maybe he should shoot someone here. But before he could make his case, Quagmire shoots him in the head. Very, very violent imagery here. And, obviously not for snowflakes who are easily upset by violent imagery. And, he just dies because he got shot before he could make his case. Ha ha ha.
Patch things up with your friends.
Have I told you that we're all friends again?
That might have been the part of the joke that I missed. I don't think I need to explain that one.
Relax, Stewie. The doctor gave me this so you can get some exercise.
Boy, Stewie's more wound up than Dad was that time he took steroids.
Peter, could you please pass the potato?
Oh my god, it's the Fortnite skin! I didn't think it was an actual, real character design from the show.
Ah, damn it, Meg! How many fourth...
So... Okay, I mean, the first part of the joke was very simple. Babies falling. Obviously, absurd. He took steroids, he looks like that. Absolutely ridiculous. And he blows up over a very small thing, which, makes fun of the fact that people take steroids are overly aggressive. And if I'm not wrong, Meg's also a huge punching bag of the series, so the double joke here is that, he gets aggressive and then he punches Meg. Yeah.
Fourth graders, you think you...
Potato?
Ah, damn it, Meg! How many fourth...
Now, for something that was his own fault. Yeah.
Graders, you think you could take it once? What? I mean, obviously, if you had to fight against 1 million fourth graders, you'd lose. So, what's the real number? What's the legitimate number of fourth graders that you could successfully take on?
Let's say 100. That sounds reasonable.
Oh, no way, 100 and you're dead.
Why are we fighting now?
Because they're idiots.
Did they say something about my mother?
What? Yes. Okay, yeah, we'll say yes.
Oh, then a baker's dozen.
What kind of weapons?
Only what's available in the schoolyard.
You could really mess up some kids with a chain from a swing. Just...
All right, tell you what I'd do? I'd back into a bathroom stall and just start kicking. Dead! 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 Keep coming! Dead! Give them a narrow entry point. Make them come in single file. Dead! Dead! Anyway, I guess I'm trying to say 800 fourth graders.
Hey.
Yeah, so before I explain the joke, I think, obviously, I think this goes without saying, but the logistics of actually doing that isn't very realistic. I mean, if you actually wanted to take on 800 fourth graders, I mean, sure, the strategy of making them come single file, I mean, obviously, assuming that they have the psychological and mental capacity to keep going even after seeing the pile of dead bodies getting murdered one by one, right? Assuming they don't have that capacity to understand that they should probably back away, like zombies basically, then yeah, going single file is a good idea. I understand backing yourself into a bathroom stall like that, but doing that will box you in. All those kids falling over is going to stack, and at some point, you're not going to have enough room. And you just kind of got to get out of the toilet, right? You're just not going to be able to be there anymore. Also, it's pretty generous of you. Fourth grade is how old? I'm not American. pretty young, but still, it's pretty. You know, you definitely. Peter definitely thinks himself very highly if he thinks he can kill a kid of a fourth grader age with one front kick. Like, they could fall back and hit their head and die, sure, but it is pretty generous to say that he can keep doing that in succession. So obviously, I don't think it's supposed to be like realistic. It just goes to show Peter's absurdity. And that is kind of the point of the scene, is that they're talking about something completely insane, but in a very normal way that you have a conversation. You know, they're making a podcast or something here, right? But you know, I don't know if that was what they were trying to convey, because real groups of friends sometimes talk like this, and it's just kind of normal to talk about absurd things like that, absurd hypotheticals. Funnily enough, I was talking to, I don't remember whether it was me or I overheard someone saying, but either way, I was recently thinking about this exact scenario of how many kids would you actually be able to take on, and it does depend a lot on whether or not the kids understand fear. Like whether or not you can make an example out of one of them, the first one, to make everyone else back off. If yes, then obviously one is all you need. You need to just kill them in such a horrific way that no one else wants to proceed. On the other hand, if they are like zombies, then there is absolutely no chance that you're coming out alive after being swarmed by couple dozen kids. Doesn't matter if they're fourth graders. If they are intent on killing you, they're going to do some real damage on you. And I'm just going to keep it a buck with you guys. Killing a person isn't very easy because they have survival instincts. They also have adrenaline. Trying to put someone down properly is you need to have the skill to actually know how to kill someone fast. You can't rely on tactics like I will punch them. No. That prolongs the fight. And that is not what you want to do. And so when you're fighting against someone with survival instincts and adrenaline and, you know, I don't remember the actual term for it, but I think it's like hysteric adrenaline. I don't know. But you can go in such a state where you are so determined to survive that you push your body beyond its reasonable limits just to survive. So this is where the impossible human strength comes in, about the mother lifting up the car to save her baby. You know, these feats of impossible strength that come in dire need happens when the body releases its limits. Basically, you will hurt yourself doing this. However, you will temporarily unlock greater strength. And this doesn't just apply to you, by the way, if you're trying to kill someone. It also applies to your victim. So you can have this power fantasy about mowing people down with your fists, or even with a blunt weapon or a sharp weapon. Realistically, like even stabbing through someone's body. Like, let's say you want to stab a big sword through someone's torso. That is not easy. It's not like fucking water balloon. It's like you gotta really fucking shove that thing in there. It is not easy. You know, it looks so easy in movies where you mow people down, you beat people up. But humans are difficult to fight if you don't know what you're doing. And even with a weapon, it gets extremely exhausting. So take it from me, someone who hasn't done any of that. Take my word for it.
Just dead. Anyway, and I guess I'm trying to say 800 fourth graders.
Hey, happy birthday, Brian. Bonnie and I got you a big stick.
Joe, isn't that the same stick we gave you for your wedding?
You told me it was a magic wand.
I pointed it at a bus. The bus crashed. That's all I'm saying.
Well, fellas, I'm off. Old Joe's got a big stakeout this week, so I'm going to practice by watching the party from across the street.
Those who doubt the wand's power suffer the wand's wrath.
Okay, this is a fun multi-layered joke. So the joke is, oh, Joe got a stick for his wedding, and it's a magic stick, apparently. Apparently Peter caused a bus to crash by pointing at it, and it's like, oh, okay, so it's a cursed stick. And so it's like, oh no, Brian got it as a birthday gift, so he's gonna be cursed and that's a red herring. Because we actually move on very quickly after this. We're moving into the next segment here, where Joe wants to watch the party from across the street. Which obviously is like a ridiculous thing to do, but it just moves on, right, one after the other. And before he actually gets to complete his action, he gets run over by a bus. And obviously, in this instant, you would think, well, that's it, right? The joke is it's unexpected, came out of nowhere. But it actually loops back around because Peter is revealed to have been holding the stick. It is not with Brian, it's actually with Peter, who had pointed it at a bus. Or maybe even pointed it at Joe. And so he is now cursed with misfortune. And Peter, goes into this like, oh, you didn't believe in this stick, and so I'll curse you with it, right? So it's like karma, right? And you wouldn't have expected that. So I actually like the amount of layering that's happening here. Yeah, that's the hilarity of it, basically.
Those who doubt the wand's power suffer the wand's wrath.
Okay.
Just give.
Yeah, so very, very self-explanatory and simple. You have the setup of all the kids coming out, and then suddenly a car impossibly crashes through the slide. And it's them having their shenanigans, holding their alcohol, perhaps. And then finally, another kid falls through, just for good measure, and they just bounce off like that. So yeah, very simple joke.
Just give me the rope. Nobody has to get hurt, Brian. Only one person has to get hurt, Brian. All right, I warned you.
Let's go!
Okay, so yeah, I don't know the context of why he's doing this, why Brian's doing this. Oh, you can't even see Brian, but he's behind my head. Yeah, and so Peter's obviously trying to get rid of him, but Brian obviously doesn't want to let go of the car. Don't know what's happening. But yeah, the first joke is like, oh, the classic line. Everyone knows this line. Oh, nobody gets to get hurt over this. Runs over a kid in the bike. Another kid casualty for the show. Apparently it's a very popular thing to do. So Peter revises his statement. Oh, only one person needs to get hurt. That's the first punchline. And then I'm not exactly sure why this compilation keeps this in here, because I'm not sure this is a joke. There's an action scene. He gets thrown around, and then finally gets thrown into a pipe, a fire pipe. What, I forget what these are called. Fire hydrant pipes. And I don't know, suffers a very lethal blow here. I mean, I think he might have died. Not sure. Yeah.
Let's go!
No, guys.
Oh god. Okay, 3 of them. They're cops for some reason. Well, I know one of them is, but no, are they pilots? I'm not sure.
We'll never make it on foot. We gotta steal that kid's jet ski.
I think they might have been. No, they're sailors, right?
Yeah, the boat's right there. We'll totally make it.
It's the only way, guys.
Peter, we're now literally standing on the boat. That's how close the boat is.
Made it.
You wanted to ride the jet ski.
I wanted to ride the jet ski. And look,
Peter, we'll
okay, so very self-explanatory,
totally
but it's hilarious. So it's like, okay, we gotta get to the boat. It's gonna leave, right? And then it's like, oh, but it's super close. You don't need to get the jet ski. Obviously, it is revealed later that he actually just wanted to ride the jet ski. And it is shown that the other two are already on the ship, so Peter obviously wants it for some reason. And yet again, another kid suffers a casualty. So Peter Griffin, very violent towards children, so he beats up this kid brutally because he really wanted the jet ski. You know, obviously the comedy here comes from the fact that he did such an insane thing to do, obviously a bad thing, for a very childish reason, which is very often the punchline for a lot of Peter Griffin jokes, apparently.
That's how close to the jet ski. And look at this. It's a Bolivian airplane. Now, it says it's worth 8 cents, but really, it's worth 12. See that? Already ahead. Came right out of the blocks with a winner. Here, Chris. Now, we'll just paste this very carefully into the book. And that's where it belongs. Now, this is a loaded handgun. And what we're going to do now is kill ourselves because this is horrible.
Couldn't we just stop philatling?
Too late. Because this...
Okay, so it starts off with a very, a very calming, relaxing hobby of collecting stamps, evaluating its true value. But obviously it's presented in a way where it's like, oh, this is like really boring. A very boring father-son bonding moment. And so he brings out a gun, right? And it's like, okay, well, this is really boring, so we have to kill ourselves now, which is very random. You know, because the joke is that it's boring. I could already see that from the beginning. But then he outright says the joke, you know, that it's boring with the gun, right, for shock value. But I just don't think it's necessary. You already said it was boring. Like, it's already implied that it was boring. You didn't need to say it, and you didn't need the shock value to make the joke land.
Couldn't we...
And Chris tries to be reasonable here, and then Peter's like, oh, too late, and then he kills himself, and I guess that's
just
supposed to be
stop
funny.
philatling?
Too late.
Great start.
I'm still hungry.
Okay, so I suppose the joke here is that, you know, okay, they're doing some sort of insane acrobatic stunt here. Helicopter crashes into them, gets caught in a thing, and the boat spins around and crashes into a bunch of people fishing. And so basically a bunch of people got hurt. It's such an insane string of events. And I guess that's it for the compilation.
Said the very hungry caterpillar, but you've already...
Ah, okay, that wasn't even the whole joke. Goes through preschool. Oh, and that's it. Oh, you even have, oh, and that's it. Okay, yeah, so the rest of the joke is it also passes through a preschool. And that is Dark Humor Offensive Jokes Family Guy compilation, Nut for Snowflakes. Did any of you snowflakes get offended by any of these? Take a joke. You know, jokes are supposed to be funny. You know, jokes are supposed to make you laugh. Isn't this hilarious? Aren't all these jokes hilarious? Guys, this was so fucking funny, right? Like, I obviously laughed at every single one of all of these were so funny. And, you know, to be fair, it takes a high intelligence, high IQ to understand Family Guy humor, to appreciate Family Guy humor. Do you know how hard it is to write comedy? You know, we at Family Guy Studios are doing something truly revolutionary here. This shit, you try writing so many seasons of this, how many episodes per season? You try writing this. Comedy is hard. Put some respect on comedy. This is art. This is performance art. You can't get any high class more than that. You can't get higher of a class than these jokes. These are fine-tuned. You know how many writers are on this? How many writers made it possible to deliver content to you, entertainment to you? Are you entertained? Was this 55-minute video of me explaining all the jokes in a 10-minute compilation video worth it? Obviously, I'm just getting the bag, yo. I'm just getting the bag. This is what everyone's reacting to. Let's react to this video. Oh, look, it's a horribly unfunny video. Not because it's offensive. It's just not funny. And I think a lot of the shock value in I'm too desensitized from the internet to blink twice at any of these. Okay, I've been in spaces. Okay, I have seen some fucked up shit that only surgeons should see. And that's not even me being a special snowflake. These are just things that people who grew up on the internet may unfortunately encounter, and that's a bigger topic about internet safety that we should talk about in a different day. I'm just saying, I don't know how other VTubers do this. I don't know how they can watch these kinds of videos and make entertaining content out of this. I have no idea. I sat through a 10-minute video barely emoting. To be fair, some of these were funny. Some of these were really funny.